Hi folks, Craig here. Use he, him pronouns, joining you from Judge Our Country today to give you a CEO update. So a bit about what's been happening at VMIAC and what lies ahead. Sorry folks, on Monday, Gabriel Alexander's, VMIAC's research and policy lead, is heading to Canberra. And to be part of discussions around the formation of a national mental health consumer peak body. So some of you might know that recently on 30th of January, Mark Butler made the announcement of $7.5 million over 4 years for the formation of a national consumer peak and a national carer peak. So VMIAC's been involved in these really important discussions and as part of the alliance of the state and territory peaks, of which there is one in every jurisdiction except for Northern Territory, whose peak has not got formed and has official peak status yet. So the importance of this national peak, which is soon to be formed, is so that the consumer voice can be in all of the places that it needs to be around national mental health decisions. So we're talking about policy, frameworks, the systems, and if we think a little bit about where funding comes from, there is some of our funding, for example, is state, like from the Department of Health, for example, our area mental health services. And then some funding is federal around, say, for example, PHN's primary health networks. So decisions are made all of the time around funding and governance for these things. And so we do need a consumer voice at the table. Of course, there has been the National Mental Health Consumer and Carer Forum, who've done a lot of work. And that's really important work, as well as others who've worked on the formation of the national peak in the past. But this is going to be a much more formalized body, and it will be clearly recognized and will be recognized in terms of reference in certain things. And as we know, if templates exist to involve agencies or peaks, then that makes sure that that happens as well. And that's what we will see with the national peak. So these discussions on Monday are about how it is that this national peak will be formed. So we're taking a position that this should be a federated model, so that each of the state and territory peaks should effectively be on the board of the national peak. I want to say here really clearly that this work stands on the shoulders of amazing people who've come before us in trying to advocate for a national peak. And we've sort of got close previously. And now, due to the hard work of those people that have done in preparation for this, we're now at the point where this is going to happen. So we're looking for that federated model, and we're looking for the state and territory peaks, including VMIAC, having a strong presence in the governance of the national peak. So I'll update you when we have more information after Gabriel has been to those meetings in Canberra to be part of the alliance, putting forward those positions. Folks, so something else important I wanted to talk with you about was the strategic planning process that's begun at VMIAC, and we are really looking forward to getting your input into that. We've had a sort of brainstorm workshop around the priorities for the organisation and where we want to be in 3 years' time and what we need to do to get there. And we really know that we want to engage more with you as a general idea as part of that strategic plan, and then of course specifically about the plan itself. Strategic plan is really important because it sets the direction for the organisation. It guides the organisation's activity, and it's my role as CEO to make sure that the strategic plan is implemented. So for those of you interested, our current strategic plan, which we've just expired initially in the 30th of June last year, and we just extended it twice because there was so much going on in the organization with our expansion and also in the sector with all of the new things happening out of the reform. But we've got to it now as to do that initial thinking, and we want to involve you in helping us work out how VMIAC can be what it needs to be at this time. And what it needs to be doing and how it needs to be doing those things. It's a really important process for us to involve you in that because we are a member organisation. And we want you to be able to see the strategic plan and say, I've had a say in that. And also I can see that what's happening there, that makes sense to me based on my experience. And it makes sense to me based on what I need my peak body to do. So we've had a fair bit of ideas on texters with butcher's paper, and we will have something to give to you to have a look at for your ideas, and there will be multiple ways of participating as well. So there'll probably to be confirmed, but we'll probably have an in-person opportunity, online opportunity, or opportunities, and also a survey as well for those of you who don't want to participate in those ways but want to put forward your ideas. It's really important for us to get this focus because there are so many activities happening in the sector, and we want to make sure that we're being the strongest consumer peak body that we can for consumers in Victoria, and that we're getting the most effect out of essentially how we're funded, and therefore being the most effective in what we do. So please stay tuned for that. It won't be long. We are hoping that a strategic plan would be close to finished by the end of May of this year. So that gives us some plenty of time to talk with you and get your ideas. Well, folks, that's it for me. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you're going well wherever you are, and maybe you've got some time coming up if you celebrate Easter. To have a bit of a rest and a relax. I certainly think some of us at VMIAC will be taking that time to do that. So take care, and I look forward to speaking with you next time. Thank you.